Okay, hey everyone, Tommy Sandvik here with the Bull and Barrett Traders. And first of all, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we will be releasing a 90-day plan to success for binary options for you to be able to get on the right path if you've tried and failed before, or if you're completely new. We're going to be providing some information on how to get you profitable within 90 days and make some money. With that being said, I am going to talk today a little bit more about zone trading and specifically drawing scenarios on your charts. I've been studying and feel like this could be a great benefit to those who want to learn to do this. I will preface this by saying that I've done the zone trading before. You can check out my other videos regarding how to draw zones, what the zones are, and so on and so forth, and we'll cover a little bit of it in this video. But I just want to start out by saying I'm actually trying this for the first time, quote unquote, this week. I've done zone trading before, but to actually go through the charts, analyze intended direction and where I think price is going to make its moves, and then plan when I'm going to take my binary options trades based off of that information. So this is really well suited. Now it takes a lot of patience to do this. I had been trading the 4-hour charts, and the challenge with that comes down to the expirations. So I've definitely developed the patience to take the trades that I want. This is very well suited when you are the type of trader that does not have a lot of time. This has been my personal struggle immensely, as my job is requiring anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week. Definitely heavier on the I'm already at 50, so I'd actually say that I'm going in the 60 to 70 hour work weeks at this point, and that makes it extremely difficult to be able to follow along as much as I would like, even with signals and so on. So my goal is to be able to look at the charts, look at where prices reacted, set levels that I intend to trade, and actually set those levels ahead of the week starting. And then as the week develops, we take a look at how price reacted to those levels, and then continue to plan out directions according to what's happened. And so this really is a process that should only require maybe an hour of time each day, just to look at the charts and identify what has been done versus what was expected, and then plan out your scenarios. Likewise, you can set your alerts on MT4 or even on a cell phone. You could get an app which will, you can set your alerts, and then that way, like even if you're at work or something of that nature, you say, hey, today I expect price is going to hit this level. It gets there, and then you take like a 1-hour trade off of that level. Now, of course, you may be very wrong in this. I might be very wrong with this, but I think what's helpful to people, rather than coming across as, oh, I know everything, which is how a lot of people come across in Forex. It's being able to say, hey, I don't know everything, but we're going to try something, and you can come on that journey with that person if you want to. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on, this type of trading, because not only is it well suited for binary options, it's also well suited for spot Forex, which is ultimately where I personally plan to add to my portfolio. So let's take a look real quick at the euro dollar. I chose this pair because I had actually been trading it quite a bit anyway when it was in the range that was in since the beginning of December. It finally broke out of that range. And so this is a very common pair, and it really, what I'm trying to emphasize is to go down to only trading a couple pairs and getting really well in tune with those pairs, because I think having way too many charts open, it can be very difficult to follow all of it along. This is, again, my preferred method. It's what I'm going to be trying. So I know that's a really long intro, but future videos I won't be talking about that component so much, and I'll simply refer back to this video. So let's take a look at the euro dollar. If you look on the 4-hour chart, right, we were in a uh, range more or less between these levels, and it bounced around. I definitely had a couple of trades in here, um, and um, and then when it kind of faked out down low, I got confused, so I just kind of stopped trading it. Ultimately, it came back to the range, and then finally we saw the breakout this month here. So what I would emphasize then is I go down to the 1-hour chart, because that's ultimately where we're going to be trading. First of all, I did draw a trend line here, which is actually based on the 4-hour, because we had this up channel, it broke, and then it came back down, and then it reformed the trend line. So I kept this trend line here. Some people may disagree with that. That's fine. It's not the Bible by any sense of the imagination. It's just an idea for me to look. So if you look at the last week, what happened? So the basic concept of zones, more than anything, is not necessarily rejection or, well, it is. A zone is a location where price changed direction, whether it reversed or, well, it's basically spots where price reverses, and then so what happens is these zones get established, and price will continually revisit these areas. So you can plot out on a chart what you think will happen just by looking at the levels that price has visited. So we see, for instance, that you came up here, we touched, we played around in here, came back to this. So price came up here, broke out, and then came back, went back up to the bottom of this zone, came back again, then went up, and eventually, it played around in it, and it broke it, and then came all the way back down to the bottom of it, and then continued back up. So you notice that there's a lot of price. This is what price does. I mean, it either goes up, it goes down, or it ranges. But as it's moving, it's doing so within from zone to zone. So the idea is to be able to look at the chart and say, where do I think price is going to go next, and what is my move going to be if it does? And to preferably do that within an overall bias of the pair. If you think overall, is it long term, is it going up, or long term, is it going down? But in binary options, it's not as necessary because we're only interested in what's going to happen the next hour. But we want to try to do that within the context of the overall bias because it's going to give a greater chance for success. Now, when you're trading these zones, they can definitely completely break through a zone. Just because a zone is broken through doesn't mean that it's invalid. It just means that it got taken out on that move, but chances are it's going to revisit that zone in the future. So, and this is a perfect example, right? If you look at this candle here, it broke through this zone very strongly, but it still came back and visited the zone again, and it rejected off of the zone. So it still remained valid. And this zone, by the way, is actually a 4-hour zone, because if you go all the way back, you can see how price is rejected off of it, blew through it, reject, reject, blew through it, reject, blew through it, reject, kind of reversed or went up, came back, whatever. But anyway, so that's why this is pinned that way, but when you look at the 1 hour, it looks a little bit less exciting. So let's take, now unfortunately I haven't figured out with this program with MT4 how to actually draw out scenarios, but here's what I would expect based on what price has been doing. So we have the trend line there, which it may or may not respect. I would expect that it will. So basically, when the market opens, I would expect either it's going to work its way down to the trend line slash sort of zone area. In the zone, really, it's this whole area. Like, I would definitely put it this whole area. So it depends on how quickly it moves down. If it takes longer, then this slowly starts to rise as the trend line intersects with it. If it does it very quickly, then it may be the further edge of the zone. So either it's going to go down here, or it'll open and it'll ultimately come up here. It may open, go up, reject down to the trend line, and then come back and shoot up through the zone. It may do reverse. It may go up to the zone and then come down and then like blow through the trend line. There's all kinds of different scenarios, right? But if you draw out what you expect to happen within the context, I mean, this is a pretty strong trend line. So I would say greater probability it's going to go up. The euro dollar is going to continue its upcline. The question is, when is it going to do that, and what is it going to do before it makes that breakout? So I would expect something like coming up to this zone, rejecting it, and coming down to the trend line, and then bouncing up. Okay, that's definitely one scenario. If it is also possible that it would go up, come down, blow through the trend line, and come down to this zone down here, and then, make its move up. The point is, there's obviously a gazillion different scenarios, but the point is, you should be able to, you should look at the chart and identify areas of that you expect price to reach and move to and from, and then from there you can actually plan out what you expect the trades to be. So rather than being so reactive during the week to what price is doing each and every day, have a plan of what you think it's going to do, and then trade that, right? Plan the trade and trade the plan. Now, what I did was I took all of these same lines and I put them over on Jimmy's 8-way system. And there are these lines here that I've created, okay? So you notice that within the context of his 8-way system, this zone, the line here that I drew and the line here, both of those are actually within what the indicator is defining as a zone. That's just additional confirmation. So now, instead of going, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this zone, it's only a little bit. I don't know if I should have the plan that if it reaches down to, let's say, 1.11871, that you're going to take the trade. Or maybe you wait a little bit lower and try to get the wick. But I think if you take an hour trade, you're probably safe. So, you may expect it's going to drop down. Likewise, we can also see here, we have the EMA line that is moving along. So it may come up and touch, which also kind of corresponds with this top zone line, right? So it may come up here and then come down and bounce up the EMA. So you can use this all together to determine, to help you filter out the trades. But my thought process behind doing it this way, and this is a 1-hour chart obviously with Jimmy's 8-way system. So I thought that might be helpful if you draw out zones and then just plot scenarios. And there's only, at this point in time, there's only two things that can really happen. It's going to go down to a given point where it will reverse, because the market can't go in one direction forever. It's always going to move and then either pull back or move and go sideways, right? So it can't go in one direction forever. So without some sort of change. So at this point, it's either going to go down to a given level and bounce, or it's going to go up to a given level and bounce. I mean, that's just literally the only two options. So if you're trying to figure out what the levels are that is likely to do those first bounces, then you can look left, as Rick has pointed out, and identify that. And I see a whole lot of opportunity at this level that it's going to bounce. So I'm probably going to expect, if it comes, and you've got the trend line. So you've got the fact that this level has been holding. It's been acting as a resistance, and then it did blow through and then it came back. But look, when it retouched again, it respected that line 3 times. So the line has revalidated itself. So when you add the trend line into it, now you have a confluence of 2 factors. So I would say that probably a good chance it gets to this level and it bounces. If it just goes up, again, you've got a pretty good level looking through here. You've got a pretty good level for it to do another little bounce and come back and touch the trend line and then take off. So those are my two expected scenarios, either up here and then down to the trend line, or straight down to the trend line and then up. Now, at that point, will it blow through or bounce? I don't know. We'll have to see how long it takes for those things to happen. So I hope this was helpful. This is the way that I'm going to be trading going forward. And I've actually analyzed more than just this chart, but I wanted to just stick with one. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. As I indicated before in our Facebook group, I'm extremely busy, but I will do my best to answer questions and help you develop as a trader. That reminds me, we do have the free Facebook group. You can join, and we give lots of materials in there, lots of help, a great community, and free signals. So it's a great place to be. Okay, thanks so much. This is Tommy Sandvik with the Bull and Barrett Traders.